Welcome to Sad Boys, a podcast about feelings and other things. Also, I'm Jarvis.
I'm Jordan.
Welcome.
We were just talking lips.
We were just talking lips because we all have them.
I truly, we had a little chat about lips. We were just talking about, like what kind of lips you got, what kind of lip builds are there, what's out there. I went to the bathroom, I saw my face, and I went, what is that? Like, what is this? Because it ain't this. And it ain't this.
Oh, the type of skin? Yeah, it's like a different type of dermis. I don't know if it's a type of dermis.
Is it muscle? Because you can move them.
There is.
Well, there's muscle.
Definitely muscle.
In the...
Look.
I can see.
But I feel like I can make my lip tense,
I can make my mouth really tiny.
Yeah. You can't do that with your cheek.
This came up because my lips are a little swollen, so I don't have as much control of them as I normally do. But
How big we talking?
From kissing?
Not that much now because it's like gone down because I took my allergy meds. But it's just I randomly get hives, and sometimes my other parts of my body will swell. So like my hands were swelling.
Your
yesterday.
genetic DSLs. Just
You could have told the people it's from kissing.
It's from kissing.
It's from kissing. Okay, run it back.
It's from kissing.
What happened? You were telling the story about
Hey,
kissing.
everybody. It's from kissing.
That was close.
Yeah.
You've just been kissing too much. Your lips are
I've been
swollen.
kissing too much, and I know exactly what that's like.
Isn't it weird that we just have like so little, we have all of the information available to us via wonderful tools like Grok, and I don't want us to look up what lips are made of because I think I'm just going to tank that. Oh, well.
Have you
Are
ever...
those teeth? Why do they include that? Not
Just
my
so
question.
you know where they are.
That's wait.
But have you ever seen
some of the teeth are missing?
Drawing of the muscular structure under a face?
Yes.
No, but I mean like the front view. Because there is like very different...
Yeah, there's different stuff.
There's different stuff.
It just seems so crazy. It's always funny, by the way, like when you go to the doctor and obviously they have like an absurd level of information that and like nuances you can never know, big thick books and stuff. And then you ask them one particular question, they're like, we haven't cracked that yet. We actually don't know how. And like, why does this medication work this way? And we're like, we're still working on that. Not quite sure yet.
Yeah.
You're kind of the guinea pig on that stuff.
Yeah.
And you're like, how does the brain work? You're like, you tell
still
me,
learning.
brother.
Still learning.
It's like asking me like what a computer is. I'm like, it's like the box at home.
It is funny that now that we have a number of AI agents competing against each other, Grok does sound like the dumb one.
Yes.
It's like Claude is very refined, and then there's Grok who's over there like,
because Grok is
Grok.
They gave it a caveman name.
They give it a caveman name. It's almost Gronk.
Yes. Baby Grok. I mean, it's the, if you take all of those names and you do kind of boil them down into frat guys, like Claude is the kind of refined guy who's still a piece of shit and he's like part of the frat, but he's tactful and actually does his homework.
No,
Grok is currently drinking.
Claude is like, my sincerest apologies.
Who's the transfer student?
You should not drink antifreeze, and I apologize for telling you to do so.
ChatGPT, the high-strung homework addict.
Yeah, ChatGPT is like the nerd of the group.
Actually, when I told you to drink antifreeze, I wasn't lying.
It's a Ben Shapiro type.
Yeah.
You would be surprised to find that when I mentioned antifreeze, that is what is commonly known as a contextual statement.
Emoji heading.
I was mostly considering the water content antifreeze and not the other antifreeze parts that are toxic to humans.
Like,
Grok's like, kill yourself.
Drink it, brother.
Bro,
have you ever met a nerd? You know those nerds who are...
Be careful.
No. You're going to know this type. This is a type I've encountered in my own nerddom.
I see.
Potentially
where
insulting.
they think they know everything and they're constantly explaining things to you, but they're wrong about so much.
I hate a confidently wrong person.
The confident whiff.
Because I'm not confident about things I'm right about.
I know. Same.
I'm sheep. At the best case scenario, I'm sheepish in my confidence.
Because
I know how obnoxious it could be. And then it is, then as a result, I'm like vague and actually not that informative. I mean, I told you that. I have a friend who made the confident claim that because of the quality of the speakers that they have in their house, like the fidelity, the realism that comes out of them, that no matter the volume or how close you are to them, it cannot damage your hearing.
I've heard other people say that too, which is crazy.
Is this like, I'm sure there's going to be some pedantic comment.
I thought
that's
you were
like,
saying the speakers as in like, let me be clear.
Oh, the confidence of those people. Yeah.
The orators in my room.
One of history's most famously confidently wrong people ever. But it is. I'm sure maybe it's that like this is a unclear point that's been, the language is too broad. Like it can't damage. It can't do one specifically nuanced thing that a particular way that damages you.
I don't know.
But you know what's really realistic is a gunshot. If I do that next to your ear, it's not the lack of realism that makes it damage your. It is like
real sounds. It's all those synthetic sounds. Real sounds can't hurt you.
It's magic. It is indistinguishable from a miracle. The way that they talk about it, and saying that with like kind of a smug. It's like a smug priest. Like yeah, Noah's Ark did literally.
Audiophiles. The people who identify as audiophiles, choose a new word, but
gotta be careful with that one.
to the files.
They are usually, I mean, going back a long time, like the internet has been making fun of confident audiophile. They're like, I have this gold-plated cable and it actually makes the audio sound different and I can tell. But it feels very much like wine tasting or something where when you like actually like, I'm sure there are people who are really good at identifying stuff, but there's also people who've made millions of dollars fraudulently by like mixing really cheap wines together and selling them as if they were expensive wines.
Or claiming that like, a particular headphone cable is going to get you lossless audio while the file is not lossless.
It doesn't create the this 128 kbps like MP3 is not going to become a FLAC.
It can damage your ears.
It's not going to become a wave.
Be careful.
I remember one time I was with my mom shopping for a new washer and dryer.
Shopping, big surprise.
And I was a little kid.
Washer and dryer, I hardly know her. Go on.
And we were at like a big box store, like Circuit City kind of type place.
No, they have huge boxes there.
And
For the products, on account of the size.
and we're on the sales floor looking at all the washers and dryers, and this young salesman comes up to us and he's like, you should check out this new model, blah, blah, blah. And he's like showing us this new dryer that doesn't tumble dry. You can just hang stuff in there and it like heats it up. And he goes, you know, it's actually the tumbling that makes stuff shrink. And then, okay, cut to later, we're walking away. I'm like, Mom, is that right? And she goes, no, that guy's an idiot. He doesn't know what he's talking about. He just is trying to sell me something.
Yeah, that's the commission-based. I don't even want to call it a lie because I do think there's almost a Stanford prison experiment impact that happens when you're given the default authority. It's like you're wearing the suit so you can say the wild shit.
Going on a roller coaster in an XL shirt and I come out in a crop top. It's the tumbling that makes it smaller.
It's winter. How did this happen?
Oh.
It's always fun when you get to have one of those moments. It's the actually I think I know more about American Girl dolls than you do, genius.
Oh, dude, when somebody accidentally steps into, because I do not consider myself to be a font of knowledge on really anything, but a very slim set of like hyper focuses from when I had more energy. And if you step into the dojo by accident, if you accidentally trip and stumble into nuances about PS3 launch titles, and you start doing it with confidence, like, hold on. Wait a minute. Accessing only part of Mind Palace that's furnished?
Yeah.
Rest of Mind Palace is empty and covered in cobwebs?
Empty, echoey, cobwebbed.
Then somebody's just like, oh, well, that's actually not technically the canon of the TV show Heroes.
Yeah.
Wait.
Yeah.
Pushes up glasses.
I definitely have some of those, but it happens to me more when people tell me about what AI told them. This weekend, a guy randomly said to me, like I was leaving a hotel. I was like traveling this weekend, and the guy was like, "Don't cut your hair," and I was like, "What?" Like I took out an AirPod, like I was like, "Huh?"
It was like, wait, the guy worked there?
He's a time traveler. He said like,
"There's no time to explain."
There's no time to explain. This is the butterfly effect.
Why do you sound like me but old?
He said, "Don't cut your hair," and then I was like, "What?" And then he was like, yeah, like you have good curls. And I was like, oh, thank you. He's like, and I have good curls. And I was like, of course, absolutely.
Fishing for a compliment.
I was like, wow, the finest curls in the land.
Because hey, you look really nice.
Yeah. I'm always trying to be polite in public, and I also have the like Southern hospitality programming where I'm like
Right.
overly nice.
Well, thanks, partner. I'm better listen to this here computer.
Absolutely. And so then he was like, I was asking AI what to get for my barber, and they said 2 on the sides and tell them not to like comb. You use a dry comb to comb it out
what
because
makes
of
it
my
shrink.
curls. And I'm like, oh, for sure. Absolutely. And then they were like, AI's taught me a lot of stuff. And then they like walked away. It had like a little,
Is he sponsored?
yeah, it was very interesting.
Turned around, Grok logo on the back of his t-shirt. There's a.
Was he real?
Yeah, I looked at someone next to me and I was like, what was that about? And they were like, what are you talking about?
There's I had it's a barber I usually go to, but new guy. I am terrible at articulating what kind of haircut I want, despite the fact that it's generally very simple. And I think that's partly where the nuance
Gets tricky, where it's
Yeah.
like the exact point of the grade, the height, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And there is only one answer, and all of them independently come to it, no matter which barber I go to. But seeing them like navigate my struggle articulating it, because I'll say what I thought the grade was last time, and on the side, and I wrote it down, but apparently that actually doesn't apply this time for whatever reason. And it was honestly very sweet, but it kind of felt like the same way you have to coach a kid to read, where you can't tell them what the phonemes are, but you go like, and so what did you want on the sides? And they're like, I was thinking like a 1, and he went, a 1 on the side? I went, no. I meant the
5 on the sides, 1 on the top. I want the.
I want the Rick Sanchez.
I was gonna say, I want the George Costanza.
I'm trying to look like a monk from 1500s Catholicism. And he was like, yes.
You give me the friar cut.
Let me tell you, by the way, I don't know if this is going to resonate with anyone. That feeling when you can't quite hear anything over the music at the barber, and you think he's about to say something to you, and what comes out is Armenian, and he's talking to a friend. Oh, the rush. I'm like, he's in a conversation. I have nothing to. I don't have to explain what YouTube is.
I wish there was like, so you know how Severance is like a dystopian tale about capitalism and, detaching the self and all that jazz.
But
I
also
kind of
get,
wish I had Severance for the barber.
Yeah, now and then.
I wish there was a different guy that could do the talking.
Your
if I could
Audi gets a haircut.
autopilot, and
Yeah.
like, look, the guy can't be that interesting, right? Like, it's like he doesn't have like a lot of engagement with the world, but God, does he know how to do small talk?
Oh my God.
I also have like, I think my version of Southern hospitality, aside from like kind of a fat background British, oh, pardon me, is West Country, bleh. I don't know what to, mumbling, where if somebody's asking me a active question where I'm supposed to reply with something, I'm overly aware of the fact that really what I'm supposed to do is just sort of like get through the moment, and then they can get back to whatever the thing they were saying was.
Yeah.
So they're just like, so what are you up to this week? And by default, if I let the autopilot run, I will just say something like, oh yeah, not too much. And I realize after it happens, that was their improv prompt. I was supposed to like knock it back to them, not like catch the tennis ball.
In those
and put it
moments, you
down.
have to channel your inner AI chatbot and ask a follow-up question.
That's a great
to
question.
keep the conversation going.
This weekend, probably just having a little fun, getting a little crazy. What do you like to get up to?
I was in Chicago this weekend for Pokemon Go. Long story, but while I was there, I was thinking about like how geographically Chicago, like my family's from around Chicago or outside of Chicago, but I've never actually been there because they all moved to Florida before I was born.
This is your first time going?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
And I didn't spend too much time there, but it was just like cool to go and see. There was a experience I had where I was thinking about the gradient in hospitality, or forced hospitality, if you want to call like Southern hospitality more forced, versus like the New York, like kind of I'm walking here type aesthetic. Yeah. And like thinking
The
about it as a
Sith to
gradient,
Jedi.
thinking about it as a gradient and like where Chicago like exists, like where Illinois exists on that gradient, I found a lot of people who I was interacting with were kind of like frowning, like kind of had a like
like an obsession.
Oh my God.
But in New York, if I do Southern hospitality, it doesn't like work. It like they perfect period. It like it bounces off of them unaffected. But then
The
in
wind up to the attack
Chicago,
is too long.
if I like was just like generally upbeat and nice in my interactions, people would like kind of go,
Turn
and
the
I was
frown
like,
upside down.
whoa, we can turn the front upside down. This is kind of nice.
That's what it felt like as soon as I got back to the when I went back for the extended trip to the UK last year. If I got off the plane too American, like too much. I got off the plane. First place I go to Greg's. I'm like, hi, how's it going? I'm like, I noticed the projectile shatter against the shield, just like explode because it's like a hollow point
Critical
round.
failure and like it hurts you.
Yeah.
It's like you use fire attack on a fire enemy.
Absorbed.
Yeah, absorbed. Oh, what the hell?
And then I over the
healed
course
him.
of like the first week at the couple different hotels I was hopping around, I noticed that like, okay, the hospitality friendliness buff is matching where I'm at right now because they're used to dealing with like different sentiments from different countries visiting. Barista welcomes a good amount of friendliness, but I still need to tone it down. Then, once I adjusted, like after maybe 3 or 4 days, I got to the frown upside down. You can as long as you start within their like the frame range.
You have to hit the pocket. Yeah. You have
Once
to find the
get it,
pocket.
then you can smell upside down. The problem is that I think it does cost a little bit of HP.
Oh, for sure.
Doing that, lifting it up.
It's
is
a berserker build.
yeah. I'm a glass cannon. I need to be
Yeah.
careful.
My friend from New Jersey,
whoa.
she moved to Los Angeles when she was like 30 or in her 30s and had never been to California before. She was moving here for her husband's
Crazy
job.
move.
And she was like so taken aback by how chatty cashier people are. They'd be like, how's your day going? And she'd be like, what's it to you?
Yeah.
Like, why are you?
Hey, back off.
Well, I think she
It's like
was
somebody
like,
asking you where you're from. And you're like, what the fuck?
Hey, you trying to, it's like a gang check-in. Like, yo, what?
Where are you from? What are your colors? And then like you're over here and you're like, what's your favorite color? What do you love?
I love green.
I do think it's like a very LA thing to have like your barista or whatever be like, oh my God, I love your necklace. How's your day going? What's new or whatever? It's
Yeah.
like, we don't know each other, but it's a very LA thing to pretend like you're besties right off the bat.
Yeah.
There's a coffee shop super near Katie's place, so look for those if you want to find out where she lives. And there is the coffee shop, and so I'll go there.
Is that where I ran into you?
With your car?
Yes, it
When you
is.
hit Jordan like a bowling pin.
Craziest thing happened.
Yeah, there's a coffee shop and a broken British man on the road in case you want to.
Craziest thing happened. Met up with a friend to work at a coffee shop.
Holy shit.
What the fuck?
And then I leave
What?
and I see a man
That can't be right.
staring me, a tall,
Not a boy, but
bespectacled chap.
Fucking loser.
Sunglasses, so. Simmer down.
Sun bespectacled.
I was like, what the fuck are you doing here?
and I was like, hey, Anastasia. I was like, what is this crazy energy? Too much coffee?
I was shocked.
It was that very place. And I don't know if you had this barista, which not consume them, but they this place in particular is like overstaffed with incredibly charismatic and hot baristas.
Yes.
And there's one in particular who I think it is a little overstated by people that like don't live here or haven't been here. Haven't
Was
been
this
here
the
much.
place where the person said sad boys drink free or something like that?
No, that
Okay. Oh my God.
obviously a better coffee shop by virtue. Shout outs to them. Thank you so much to Eastside coffee shops in LA. Higher hit rate of sad boys consumers, and I don't know what that,
That
says about
actually,
Adama.
for whatever reason, I think that checks
Makes
out.
total sense. I think if you are within 5, if you were within like a block and a half of an independent tattoo shop and you work as a barista, you do listen to the podcast I have in the past. At the very least, saw the black white videos. There is a type of like LA critique that I think is based a little too much on like media consumption and like interpretations based on like Hollyweird, which is that people are like fake social, like farming for that kind of attention. I think overwhelmingly people in general are well-intentioned.
I think so,
Yeah.
too.
And I think most of the time, if it's like a genuine attempt to open a conversation, just globally, I think it is with the intent of actually having one. Now, you're at work. It is, you also want to engage with people and you do want to be polite. But this person in particular, it's so achingly sincere. And it seems like so genuinely genuine when they are asking you how you are doing, when they are like excited to hear that, or even if it's just saying, you know, not much, kind of a day, just a quiet day. And the way you say it to them, it sounds like you're like, yep, I just had my first son. You go like, not much. I'm just about to head home. We went to trivia last night. She was like,
Congrats.
no, thanks.
Oh my God, that's amazing.
We didn't wait. No, you know, it was just like a nice trivia.
No, but I mean, it is incredible news.
I cannot tell you how accurate this is. It is exactly correct what you are doing.
This episode of Sad Boys is sponsored by Delete Me.
Right now, like right now.
Oh, shoot.
Listen out, you can hear them. Tap, 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 tap.
Whoa, is that the data brokers
Those
that are
are
legally
data
collecting your
brokers.
data?
Illegally.
No, legally.
Legally?
Yeah.
That sounds like something that would be a crime.
It should. It's a legislation thing. They can do it.
So you're telling me, correct me if I'm wrong, data brokers can legally collect your personal information,
And sell it.
names,
And sell it.
addresses,
And sell it.
phone numbers, relatives' names, and anyone willing to pay for it can.
Buy it. Yeah.
What is this crazy world?
And that exposure opens you up to identity theft, phishing, harassment, doxing. All of the identity crimes that are very real and are plaguing us, and we're vulnerable.
But how do I solve this dastardly issue?
Well, Delete Me is a subscription service that removes your personal information from hundreds of data broker sites and people search sites, reducing your risk of your data getting into the wrong hands.
Thank goodness.
Yeah, I mean, there's a few reasons Delete Me is the one. They've been the leading expert in personal information removal for 15 years. They use their own tech and don't outsource to third parties, so your data is safe the whole time.
But are there other competitors in the same field? How do I know that Delete Me is the very best option?
Well, Delete Me was recently named #1 by Wirecutter, and you know how much I love Wirecutter. I kind of trust anything they say, and that's real. That's real.
The Delete Me actually verifies your data is on a broker site before submitting a request for removal.
Right, so they're not just firing off blind requests and potentially exposing you further. They check first. I've been a customer of Delete Me for a minute now. I recently got my privacy report back. There were 33 instances where Delete Me found my information, and all of that information was easily accessible through their dashboard, and I can figure out how to take action and just kind of see what work they were doing behind the scenes.
But what if something particularly strange happens and I need help from you? Would you help me?
No, but who could help you is the real human privacy advisors that are available for custom requests from Delete Me.
That makes much more sense.
And they're not bots. They're real people. Like me, but I won't help. They will. Get 20% off Delete Me consumer plans when you go to joindeleteme.com/sadboys and use promo code sadboys at checkout.
It's all one word, joindeleteme.com/sadboys, code sadboys.
Your data deserves to say yours. Thanks to Delete Me for sponsoring this episode.
I don't think I'm overly sheepish, but I think maybe in the morning especially, I think maybe I've not warmed up my hardware to the extent where I can interface quite that level. Do you know what I mean?
You know, in like a golf game or something, when you're like, the meter's going like this and you're like trying to figure out the power of your swing.
Yeah.
And there's like one like critical area that like it's perfect.
Yes. It's like red,
If
green.
I hit one of those, I'm like, wow, let me tell you everything about anything you want to talk about. Wow, the weather today. You know, I was looking up something about the weather, and then I've got something to say about the weather all of a sudden.
And somehow saying a weather anecdote that is genuinely interesting and is connecting.
And then, but then if I am just outside of that narrow band, every word I utter is physical pain.
I'm like, it's like I just learned the language.
And I don't want to be there. I don't want to be in that space. I want to always be hitting the critical, success.
Yeah.
But
there was this
unfortunately,
huge yellow range beneath, and you're like, I should have just gone for not a hole in one. I should have just gone on the green. I should have been more conservative, but instead I shot into a different nation.
oh my God. But the times, I am so genuinely happy the times that I am able to engage. And aspirationally, I'm thinking every time I'm in the yellow or the red, I'm thinking about that one time that I was in the green, and I was like, man, how great would that be if I was in the green right now? Or I'm cosplaying being in the green, but that depletes my energy like extra.
Yes, that's spending like magic points. That's like
dude.
burning.
And I don't have like an ether or like any sort of like way of MP up. I have no way of getting my magic points up. And I'm like, wow, it's gonna be a long time. I guess until tomorrow, I won't have any of this energy.
It is it's such a, I'm sure like such a hack bit, but truly it is actually not until I've had my coffee. This is the like, it's like if you had to be healthy to get surgery.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't,
Yeah, it's like if I had to, like 1 out of 10 days, and I call up the surgeon, and I'm like, today's the day, I feel great.
Come on in, I'm not doing anything.
You know, these social interactions might be a little worse if you're wearing meta glasses.
I mean, if people knew, I guess, maybe.
So there's this, this.
Wait.
Come on, that was a good transition.
It was a transition.
It was so obscure that I didn't know what you would do.
We're going to talk about meta glasses, but before we do that, because I do want to get to this. Okay, before the show, we looked up a list of affiliated Wu-Tang Clan members that are in the outside of the main group, and the names will surprise you. Jordan started laughing, reading
maniacally.
them. You know, the regular members of Wu-Tang. I'm just going to list those so that people know what we're working with. Because Wu-Tang is doing this started because today is game 4 of the NBA Finals as we're recording this, and Wu-Tang is performing at the halftime show.
And I said, who does that entail? Because Wu-Tang could be one of 1,200 people.
Yeah.
But here's the like OG kind of main members.
The foundational members.
RZA, Method Man, Old Dirty Bastard,
Jizza,
May He Rest.
Raekwon, Ghostface Killah, Inspector Deck. You know, like the OGs. But there's also
in there? No.
I guess Old Dirty Bastard's a past member.
He's dead.
Because he's passed.
He has passed.
I wasn't trying to make that a pun. I just went to the Wikipedia and I'm like, why? They should have just listed it under members and put deceased in parentheses instead of doing past members.
Did they? Yeah. They really? They just. That's an insane move.
I think that's an insane move. Okay, so but there's a lot of like Wu-Tang affiliates, and so the first couple that you read, can you read the ones that we already talked about?
If it's a group, I believe was a good starting point.
And if
within it are also different groups that are affiliated.
Yeah. So. In the Wikipedia, don't show the Wikipedia yet, Jacob. I mean, you could go to it, but just like, because in the Wikipedia for this, there's 2 sections, groups and rappers. So groups and then individual rappers. There is a group called American Cream Team. And we were having a good chuckle about that.
I'm reading some of the members of it.
Also, almost all of the members of this sadly have passed. So I want
But now they are remembered.
But this
now
is
they
a
are
celebration of life for the affiliated names.
Chip Banks, Polite, Lord Superb. Triflin, but spelt different.
Lord Superb is so cool. 12 o'clock. I just like that.
12 o'clock is fun. Yeah.
12 o'clock because it implies the existence of 23 other members.
Yeah, and God forbid any sort of half hour markers or smaller.
That's like their kids.
Yeah.
12 o'clock. I just enjoy.
Yeah, his kid's named 1201.
He's got a lot. Buddha monk, which is fun. It implies a kind of a background.
Yeah, sure.
Experience. This is awesome. Dungeon master.
Yeah, I mean that's pretty straightforward.
The guy loves to game.
Yeah,
the guy loves fun. You have to read it.
Yeah.
So
It's
some
the
of them,
one right at the
it's more
top.
the spelling than.
Born Anthony Creston Brown, Warcloud was a West Coast Wu-Tang affiliate member and former member of the group the Black Knights when he was known as Holocaust.
No!
He was also known by the aliases Alcatraz and Robot Tank.
I know my favorite.
Robot Tank is fun as hell.
There's young dirty bastard.
That was just a different
Is that
period
his
of time.
child? It's his son. That's his son.
It's his eldest son. That's
Is it for
actually
real,
cool.
his son?
That's cute.
Dude. Does he have a youngest?
I just tapped into the producers, and you've got producers like Fourth Disciple, Arabian Night, Bronze Nazareth,
Oh, whoa.
Silver Rings, John the Baptist, aka Bap God.
Crumb Snatcher.
Cool. That's like a little mouse.
Silksky, Shahaim, Shabazz the Disciple.
A lot of religious elements at play, I
Yeah.
suppose.
Yeah.
Representative of the whole world. I think I
L.A. the Dark Man.
L.A. the Dark Man.
Crumb Snatch is so
Crumb
good.
Snatcher. It's one word, by the way.
Yeah.
Crumb Snatcher.
Oh, it's Swedish.
Hands-on, or the German pronunciation, Hans-on.
I'm just saying. Hellraiser.
Cool.
Sometimes you really got to sound it out.
I might
Yeah.
take that one, though.
Hellraiser.
What was it? Tank Robot?
I think it's Robot Tank.
Robot Tank is really good. That's like how Evangelion would be translated.
Yeah.
Robot Tank.
Yeah, Robot Tank. That is such a good name.
Tag yourself, I'm Robot Tank.
Okay. Well,
I'm this one.
Shorty shit stain.
Okay, I think Brooklyn Zoo clearly has, some of the strongest. It's closely affiliated with ODB and includes King Murdy, Zookeeper, so he's, keeping them in place. Raison Zookeeper, 12 o'clock, my guy, but a monk, my guy. Shorty Shitstain is
Shorty
peak.
shit stain is crazy. Tragedy Gaddafi.
Sorry?
Tragedy's
it's
a
in
cool name.
Black Market Militia.
Tragedy Gaddafi.
Gaddafi, but I think yeah.
Cool.
I think I would love to be 12 o'clock or some variation
Yeah, I would love.
on
You know
the
what?
time.
12 o'clock. Actually, a lot of these names, but especially 12 o'clock. That's like the name of a fake rapper in like SVU.
Yeah, I'll say it.
That gets like murdered by a tiger.
I'm Dungeon Master.
Yeah, you might be the dungeon master.
You know, it's so funny because some of them, I'm like, how do you fucking say this? And then you sound it out. Silva Ring.
That was a true test of my reading comprehension
Yeah,
when I said
it
that.
starts with a C.
Lord, I might have to take Lord Superb.
Lord Superb.
Lord Superb is
Actually, that's like so perfect for you.
Brooklyn Zoo is so fun.
I think
Lord Superb.
I think you have to bow down superbly to your king and Lord Licorice
wait.
Superb.
The Begas clan, Washington, D.C. natives, Father Lord was featured on Killer Priest Tai Chi along with Hellraiser and 60 Second Assassins off the album Heavy Mental on Sons of Man's Sign of the Time along with Timbo King of Royal Fam. That definitely is like a baby Gronk raised movie.
Like reading.
But this is my favorite. Ja King, Long Fist, worked for Razor Sharp Records. And then
And which I reckon, such as the DMV street team.
and that's
Pedestrians?
That's the they're in the
actually
DC area, so it's like the DMV as in is it DC, Maryland, Virginia? Is that what DMV stands
Maybe.
for?
I thought they were actually a part of the government that issues.
The
I
Department
think it's because they're in the
licenses.
DMV area. But some of the artists include Long Axe, Black Lotus, the members of Black Lotus, Long Axe, Dragonfly, Megasoul, Scorpion, Sammo Hung, Bega Oo, Long Fist, Bolo Ga, Buddha Love, Jim Kelly.
Wait, Jim Kelly was a martial artist who studied under Bruce Lee.
Well, Sammo Hung also. Sammo Hung's like a famous actor, martial artist.
So, but
Were these-
and this makes sense
That
for
makes sense
Wu-Tang
'cause of Wu-Tang's
they're
lore,
really
yeah.
into.
I know, but it makes sense to like have something alluding to it, but just the real name.
Yeah.
Just take the real name of Jim Kelly.
Sammo Hung.
It's like Bruce Lee, but it's spelled like real weird.
Bruise.
Bruce Lee.
Bruce Lee.
That's actually really
Yo, that should be in the
fun.
Wu-Tang generator.
Cool. Every time I hear the name Bruce Lee, I always think of it as a verb, like doing something Bruce Lee in a Bruce regard.
Can I be Long Axe? I changed mine.
Okay, well, if you're Long Axe, can I be Short Axe / Dragon's Pitchfork / Yukon Black?
We're a duo. That'd be cute.
Can you? So, Childish Gambino is famously named by a Wu-Tang Clan name generator. Can we go to a Wu-Tang Clan name generator. I just want to see. Maybe we all get our names.
Imagine if Donald Glover's rap alias was Sammo Hunk.
Let's all get a name.
Oh, now that is a 2000s
There
website
we
if I've
go.
ever seen
There
one.
we go.
That's wide text.
Let's start with Jacob.
What?
The assassin.
That's actually so
What?
accurate.
That's awesome.
All right, Anastasia next.
Okay.
We're gonna get like butt stained toilet or something.
Give me,
Jacob gets
put
the
Vigo
assassin.
in. You could put Vigo in.
Vulgar mercenary. Why are you guys murderers
Yeah, you guys are killers
for hire? Yeah.
Come on, it's appropriate.
No, wait.
All right, Jordan next.
This better be. I better at least work for the mob or
It's
something.
like little shit stain or whatever.
Fuck off.
Lazy ass
Yes.
lover. Lazy ass lover.
Micro hog shit stain.
Okay.
Poop pants McGee.
What?
Annoying mastermind. I'll take it. Annoying mastermind.
Okay. The assassin, the mercenary, the mastermind,
The mastermind.
and doo-doo caca. The fart master.
Hey, I am annoying.
This is. Does anybody want to swap? Can I white elephant? Can I
No.
take somebody?
Nope.
Please.
That's it. That's our names
I
forever.
was vulgar mercenary, right?
Vulgar mercenary. Jason's Jason.
Yeah, that's Jason. He got Jason.
I put Jacob and the assassin together in my head, and I just said,
Jason
I
Bourne.
said that's Jason.
Like, can we throw in Peeps? Just Peeps.
That's already a Wu-Tang name.
What?
Mighty Knight.
What the hell?
That
They-
like weirdly
what?
feels like it's breaking away from Wu-Tang and it's just giving them a name.
But they know. I believe that there's something magical happening where this name generator can sense our souls.
I don't think. I
think so.
No, I think there's like an error.
And
like a bug
speaking
or
of
something.
sensing our souls, there's something soulless about Facebook's meta glasses.
Okay.
Yeah. That's better for sure.
We can vote in the comments below who
Yeah.
did it better.
It seems like you've misread this podcast as a democracy.
I'm
so
just saying,
no.
give a vote to your boy, annoying mastermind,
And to Jordan.
lazy ass loser. Yeah, like-
Yeah, at least you're a lover.
I think there's like a bug in the game.
yeah, being a lazy lover is kind of sad though. And
Oh, no, it's very sad.
They didn't even say lazy lover; they said lazy ass
ass.
lover.
Like, not only
like
is
a
it
Trump
sad,
nickname.
It really...
We're calling him lazy ass lover.
It makes you sound not generous as well.
Right.
Why are we talking about my name? We didn't talk about yours, which would, well, yours is actually allowed, I guess, because the Blackwater. But Jacob's an assassin, which is also allowed because of Blackwater. Oh, fuck. Mastermind, you probably run Blackwater. Okay, I am bad at sex.
Okay, well, you know how to get good at sex is by watching a Riz influencer.
If it was opposite day.
Yeah.
So I guess there's a new Riz influencer on the
Rizzer.
streets. The
I wouldn't
Rizzer.
even say he's new. I think he's been around for a little while. But
Ew.
Hilarious photo.
as we all know,
That photo's really funny.
What the fuck?
Jarvis has, we've made videos about this on Jarvis Johnson Gold before, but it is pretty
How to get laid videos.
ubiquitous now for these influencers who are like, what do you call them? Like catcalling or
Yeah.
pickup artist kind of
pickup
stuff.
artist.
I mean, that goes as far as say a lazy ass lover. So.
This profile photo looks like someone took an investment banker and then selected all of the outside of his face and said, make him a sexy
Yes.
Tarzan.
Yeah.
You know what I
put
mean? Because
face on
like if you
sexy
just
Tarzan.
only look at the face and neck, that guy works at Goldman Sachs.
Yeah, and it like took the business suit he was wearing and thought it was a chain.
There's even a hard line around the body hair.
Yes, it like
Well, he definitely shaves his neck. There's no way it just stops there.
Yeah.
whoa, that's kind of a cool look though. Permanent wetsuit.
Beard to chest.
That is a lot of. I mean, I just have to say, I suppose I put all my hair points into my upper lip, I guess, but I'm not generating anything close to that. And it is I feel like if that's the hardware you're working with, there is no maintaining it.
No.
That you are the bear man.
That's
Yeah,
fine.
it's tough. And
You just choose that
that's
look.
someone's crossed a bear. No pun intended, I guess.
It's a lot
And
of
that's-
people's
I think it's totally
preference.
fine.
And it is a
think
vibe.
I would say there is a huge
Bear.
There are a lot of people who are attracted to men
Okay.
who want a
Personal
hairy
failure.
man.
Yeah. For sure. For sure.
Oh my goodness, through the roof.
Going back to the idea of these like pickup artists, like influencer guys, they often wear meta glasses. Like it's often not disclosed that they are filming the people that they are filming.
And I believe that there's a light on the meta glasses when you're filming that they either cover with electrical tape or like get a
Disabled.
jailbreak.
Yeah.
To just poke the light out.
Yeah, I think it's actually been shown as being pretty easy to stop that light from working.
It's interesting to think that none of these guys can. I think, like, you know, he's a scientist. He's doing this experimentation, obviously. I think there's a fundamental flaw in the study because he's always going to be a guy wearing glasses. We can never know what a non-glasses wearer, what their experience would be.
Four eyes, dude, couldn't be me.
I'm lazy ass lover. I don't wear glasses.
So this account, RizCam, has 1.7 million followers on Instagram. I think they're on TikTok as well, but I'm not sure.
Oh,
how
and he's a
much they have
kick
on there.
fella. Always a good sign. Oh, is this a different guy doing the same? Oh, no.
It's the
that's not.
same guy. It's just a
That's the
different photo. of
investment
him.
banker. There it is.
Oh, that's an artist's rendition.
Also, that's before he
I don't know
went.
if there was an artist.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Sorts. His name is Claude, I believe.
Yeah.
Oh, I see. This RizMax score thing is an app.
Yeah. They've always got a fucking app.
I know.
They're vibe coding.
Oh,
Oh,
my Lord.
Ugh.
This is like,
I mean,
why is the visual design giving Magnum condoms?
yeah, this is very Trump branded,
Yeah,
actually.
yeah,
Or
yeah.
Maxim magazine.
Or Maxim magazine. Anything with an M, really.
Hundreds of
mind.
realistic practice scenarios.
That's
Oh my
Oh my god.
That's what you call a woman a
Wait,
scenario.
so this is like doing reps of hitting on like accosting a woman on the
Harass
street.
virtually until you've mastered the craft.
Forbes 16 and above, by the way.
This is like a VR engagement where you're like on a beach and there's women walking and you've got to like catcall them.
It's one of those like fake Instagram game ads where you have to like cut a rope so like you perfectly land somewhere, except
Yeah.
it's a lasso to catch women.
I've never used meta glasses, but I know that they're equipped with AI, AR, and
A guy. A scary guy.
They're okay. Allen Iverson, Austin Reeves. What other basketball player are they equipped with?
VR. Who would be VR?
Vigo Ronson.
Valentine
Rufio.
Ramirez.
Oh, yeah.
No, but they and they can film, they can stream. There's like a bunch of stuff that you can do with these little
Sorry, I have
glasses.
the critique that is completely unfair because it doesn't relate to his actions at all. But brother, you got to invert first name, last name. You cannot be Cameron John. You need to be John Cameron. That's a wild mix-up. Unless it's like the
All right.
Japanese structure.
Let's watch one of these dang videos.
Johnson Jarvis. I mean,
Okay.
what are we talking about?
Look, that's not my name.
What was my Wu-Tang name? It was like big dick, strong.
lazy ass.
It was like
lover.
jacked lover, good at sex or some stupid thing.
Wait, look at that thumbnail for 2 weeks of semen retention. Experiencing elevated emotion of joy.
Should we watch that or should we watch one of the
Is that even a video?
It's
or
just a
photo?
poster.
Okay, never mind.
Yippee! Oh, hold on. So on Kick, he reacts to his video.
He's in the top corner. That's actually crazy.
Imagine this is what you see in meta glasses.
This is
It's a little floating creep.
This is reminding me of the fucking Bo Burnham bit. I walked up and said exactly what I was thinking, nothing more, nothing less. That's a problem. Most guys complicate the approach. Well, yeah, because you should think about things before you say them.
Yes, it's weird.
Beautiful today. Yeah, where are you guys from?
Like the San Diego area.
Oh yeah, we're from Carlsbad.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, how do you guys know each other?
High school.
Coming in with a confident, direct opener, such as, hey, you're so beautiful, is a perfect way to start a conversation. Right then and there, she knows, hey, this guy's interested in me romantically. From there, once you establish that core, you just start asking questions and get...
Hello! How do you know her?
Friend, internet.
Did I do enough yet?
I feel like this is like, look here in the body language where he like gives a compliment, everything's fine, and then he continues the conversation and she immediately like tenses up.
Oh, dude, she goes into a block stance.
Yeah.
It's really funny hearing his summary of the interaction.
Yeah, so here I just wanted to say whatever I wanted inside of my mind, and so you could tell when I talked to her and I said and I included her friend, and so now I'm talking to two ladies.
The way he describes it, that's not what happened at all.
Look at this.
She's clearly uncomfortable.
I said she looked beautiful. Zero apology for thinking it, and she laughed. Not the nervous laugh of someone caught off guard by something uncomfortable.
That is absolutely the nervous laugh.
No. It's the genuine laugh of someone who appreciated being seen by a man confident enough to say exactly what was on his mind.
Chat GPT responds if you say, "Do you like the shirt I'm wearing?"
Yes.
This isn't just a regular shirt. That you've changed fashion.
I imagine this is what would happen if you went to ChatGPT and said, "I told someone they were beautiful," and they laughed.
I genuinely think that's what it is.
They were like, "I feel self-conscious." Were they nervous? And he goes, "I can't imagine they were." With a charming guy like you?
This isn't just the nervous laugh of someone uncomfortable.
Yeah, you're right. This
is the inviting laugh of someone who loves you and wants to marry you.
Find out where they live. Maybe stream it.
Wait, the genuine laugh of someone who appreciated being seen by a man confident enough to say exactly what was on his mind without needing anything back? I don't know, man.
How did you distinguish between those laughs?
It disarms her completely. I feel the opposite.
She feels tense and armed.
She's wielding a weapon.
That is not... Oh, come on. Okay.
Also, I would say that she's giving nothing back to you. She's not saying...
She's busy laughing.
"Oh, that's my bestie from high school." She said...
High school?
Also, dude, if you're going up and flirting someone, the sentence "high school, nice" cannot come out at any point.
Because also, like, there is an implied... A lot of times you want to let a guy down easy because you don't want his feelings to get involved because the situation can become dangerous.
Right.
So I feel like there's...
Especially a guy volatile to do this in the first place.
So you're like, hey, I just want this to end as quickly as possible and I don't want to ruffle any feathers. And now I'm in an uncomfortable situation, but I don't feel like I can be direct with my emotions.
Especially with a friend here, and I'm trying to... You would have the same reaction if if a guy just comes up and is just like to us hanging out and just went like, "Hey, what's up? You guys like sneakers?" And he starts talking to you about his sneakers. You're just like, yeah, man. Okay.
I do have to say, like, I don't know what the right thing to do in this situation. There is kind of no right thing to do for as a woman.
You have to go force field, and then you have to create like a dome around you where you can't enter.
What you're supposed to do is laugh nervously, which of course she was not doing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my God.
This is exactly, again, maybe I'm mansplaining and maybe I'm saying the obvious, but when a woman says like, "I have a boyfriend," if they don't have a boyfriend, they're not lying because they are evil.
Yes.
It's the quickest way to disarm the situation, and they're scared of you, and guys like this respect another man that is like doesn't actually exist or isn't even in the space than they do respect your personal space.
Because the guy is essentially what that's doing for a lot of dudes is instead of saying, "I'm not really interested in being acquired and placed in your inventory," to be honest, they're saying, "Oh, well, maybe I could use a master ball. Maybe that will work." And they're going through strategies as opposed to like, "Nope, someone already owns me. I was already acquired and put in a Pokeball." They're like, "Okay, well, you can't take that, I guess."
I can't. Yeah, you're not allowed to throw a Pokeball at another trainer's Pokemon.
I get it. It's like it's like they're in their mind they're going to like CarMax right now and negotiating the price on a car as opposed to being like, "Oh, I can't buy someone else's car."
This guy is delusional. A man who walks up and leads with genuine, bold honesty is so rare it creates instant attraction before the conversation even starts.
So delusional. I was thinking while watching this, when he said, "How do you know each other?" she should have said, "That's my wife."
Oh, like Borat.
Like I don't know if that's what she should have done because to be honest, I don't think this guy would have been like, "Ooh, hot," or whatever.
He would have been like, "That's sexy."
But get this guy out of here as quickly as possible to
literally.
stop ruining my fun time with my friend.
It's hard to, I think, redirect someone when their base premise is so off.
Yeah, exactly.
This is like trying, because it's a little like when people are online are just like, well, why? You're clearly virtue signaling because why would you be compassionate about something? And you're like, okay, so I need to access the kind of mind that just doesn't value human beings. And in order to interface with you, I have to like go into character as this different kind of, it's like, I don't know how to tell you that what I'm looking at right now, someone like essentially
enter in like a fetal pose to defend themselves from the things you are saying to
Nervous
them.
laughing, and you can't read it as nervous laughter.
Like, that was happy. And then what? I mean, it also speaks volumes when it comes to the like, okay, so what actually was the intent of this? You then leave. So it clearly was never about like, let's ask for a date or something like that.
Yeah.
It was the victory over you.
Yeah.
Right. And turning it into content probably without someone's permission. I will say that like what these people are trying to teach is something that like I'm not really sure you can, because there's so much like vibe checking and there's so much body language reading that is like not a science, and people like armchair, it so much that like there is someone who is uniquely charismatic who can go up to someone and compliment them and strike up a conversation, tell if they're unwanted and leave. But there's so much that goes into that. And I already know that this guy is not a reliable reader of the vibe.
He's boasting.
And yeah, because he's boasting. And he's approaching with sunglasses, which is a weird approach too.
Hey, how's it going?
Come here often?
Block.
How do you know each other?
Force field.
Shield.
How do you know each other? You're on camera, by the way.
I'm laughing.
Don't eat me. Yeah, this is the way you'd react to a bridge troll. Like,
I have just 3 riddles. Also, him in the corner is so funny.
It looks like he sat on the guy behind him.
Because him in the corner doesn't add anything. He's about to cut to a full frame of himself.
I guess this is what the stream is, question mark? Like he looks and reacts to himself and then cuts back and goes, just to clarify, I know I look like a fucking idiot, but I'm actually, I'm crushing. The ultimate paradox of guys like this is that really what's happening is they are espousing the kind of like objective truths and science that they think they have access to, but the only way to get that information would be to have women in your life who have had this experience and then have also had experiences they like and can give you, it's not a do your own research. This is a listen to the expert scenario, but to make something like this or to even think this way, a necessary trait is that you don't have that and you don't think women are real people. And as soon as you are in that mindset, it's basically inescapable. Now women aren't real people, so you don't have to respect them. Now women aren't real people, so you don't ask them questions. Now women aren't real people, so you don't have any platonic female relationships in your life to open that conversation with. And instead you go to this guy who you basically just think, well, I don't know the answers. Women are items that disappear when they're not in my vision cone. Like they unrender.
Yeah.
They're not there anymore.
They're
So
NPCs, like treating people like NPCs.
yes, literally.
This makes me think like, look, I don't want to give Obsession too much credit, but this makes me think of the movie Obsession a little bit. Don't, you're scaring me.
Because she's being so unreasonable.
There is often a situation where guys like, I have such a crush on this girl or woman, and I'm such a nice guy. Why doesn't she like me back? And then, from my reading of that movie, he's not a nice guy. He fucking sucks.
Well,
And
Obsession
so-
is ultimately a cautionary tale about having negative riz. because
even
wow,
then-
Bear he's so bad at reading the situation.
But that's exactly what Jordan was just talking about, is like, this guy can't read the situation, doesn't see her as a fully formed human, so doesn't think, well, she can have opinions that I don't agree with.
And she doesn't know what she wants because ultimately it's, I do need to, thank you for reminding me. Me and Katie went and we saw Obsession over the weekend.
Okay.
Great viewing. Shot for less than $1 million.
Yeah.
Incredible movie. Highly recommended.
750,000.
Solid 4 stars and a heart. She was a little much. She was kind of dangerous, in my opinion. Highlight of an already great movie was the iPad brain broken 18-year-old sat behind us, who initially we thought was a drunk guy trying to get attention, and then throughout the screening realized, oh my God, he literally just speaks in streamer voice because his life
conditioned him to think he's always on mic.
Oh no.
Here are a few quotes that heightened the quality of the movie. I've kept it spoiler free, but if you've seen the movie, I think you'll understand. Bro, she's being so weird.
Facts, bro.
That's
fucking facts.
no
dude.
less than 30 minutes into the movie. She's in love with him. After
Chat. She's in love with him.
it was so Chad, is this real? Unironically,
Was he alone or was he with someone?
oh, he was with someone who didn't
Okay.
say a peep until we saw her outside the screening room.
Wait, was it a
aware of
lady?
He was on a date, seemed like.
No. That
Unironically,
poor lady.
very unironically, quietly and sincerely to himself, which is again how I know it's real. He goes, she's obsessed with him. 40 minutes into the movie. Bro, is this like a horror movie? 40 minutes into the movie that he paid the ticket for.
And certainly he'd been on the internet,
Been alive.
and knew that the movie was the genre of the movie.
This is just fuckboy
Bold
version.
obsession.
Dude, this is fuckboy version of running away from the train because it came towards the screen. It's indistinguishable. 1 hour into the movie. Man, why is she so needy? And final note, this was the highlight where out loud I replied, yeah. And I think I needed him to understand that we existed also.
Yeah.
I got a
Other
little
people-
sheepish after that. but
Other people, you're not the main character and everyone else is an NPC.
yeah, I have to know. There were dialogue line reactions.
Yeah.
Everything. Possibly one of the quietest moments of the whole movie. A somber, quiet moment immediately after that. And he said out loud, oh, that's sad. Because of the scene before, that was so bad. Like, this is sad.
I'm impressed a little bit that
rocked.
he's
He was
able
the
to
highlight.
appropriately identify a situation as sad.
It's like he was streaming it and then switching to his camera being like, that was a sad
Also,
moment.
like, Obsession, without like spoiling anything, is about a guy who removes a woman's autonomy.
Yeah.
Assumes that it is like unnecessary. And then as soon as like, again, knows bodies, once like he might have negative consequences about it, then it is like a
Then
dangerous
it's
element.
sad.
Yeah, and it's like, and you can read the main character as malicious or stupid or a product of the current social situation, but his actions are what they are, and
Yeah.
and that is a
And ultimately, his intentions don't matter.
exactly, and that's a correlate to like society, right?
Exactly.
Like in like, because guys find themselves in these situations where, you know, if someone does like a sex crime or something, it doesn't matter the intention. What matters is the removal of
Yes.
someone's like bodily autonomy.
Which is
Yes.
like a sentiment that you don't want to welcome if you know that like either you know that you should treat people with respect and kindness, or you at least like know you need to be seen doing that, is completely immaterial when it's happened. Like it literally just doesn't matter. I don't care what degree of murder it is or like crime of passion or not. They're dead, you know?
Yeah.
I am very much in the camp of like, by the way, shout out to all the insightful video essayists called like Media Michael, who putting out video essays for Obsession in the same vein as like 5-hour video essay. Is Tony Soprano a bad person? Or like, is Obsession a story about a swagged out shorty?
It is really funny because it's a lot of guys having to grapple with the fact that like those video essayists are often men having to grapple with the fact that there may be a negative social commentary directed towards a man of their similar age and demographic.
Yes. And not a bro, not like the guy that they.
Oh no, he's a soft boy.
It doesn't make any sense, but I'm pretending to be nice. I followed all the rules.
Which means you're very beautiful. Yeah, I would love to see you sometime. It's okay, I'll teach you. I love your energy though. How could I contact you? This approach, if you just look at her body language, she's smiling, she's laughing, we're getting to know each other, it's a good vibe. The only way to get good at these conversations and these approaches is to just keep going. 1 rep, 10 rep, 1,000 reps. I know it's not easy, I know it's nerve-wracking. That's exactly why I built a tool that gives you a daily free
Approach her. This is like the Twitter threads. The like, how do you approach, and it's a photo of like an AI woman.
Also, it provides you all of the information about the person and then do approach her. That doesn't make any sense. that's not what would be happening.
She's 36, divorced, 2 kids, and she just won the biggest case of her career.
This is a trailer.
She's sitting alone at a hotel bar in Scottsdale, maybe?
This is the opening paragraph in the worst screenplay you've ever read in your life. A man with a hood it enters. The movie ends with a gunshot.
This photo's got to be AI, too.
Definitely. I do just want to mention, though, you know that the battle is over, like the conversation's ended, because he said exactly the sentiment we expressed to another video, which is the only way to get better at this is to just literally keep doing it. You just have to do it over and over again. It's like the only way to get good at cooking is to keep burning your house down every time you try. Because every new house, you're going to start getting closer. I'm like, well, you could read like a recipe book.
It's dangerous though, because it's like he's the tutorial. He's the cooking tutorial for this. Obviously, like practicing talking to strangers when it's like a welcome conversation, like it is a thing that like takes practice. But I just think the way he's going about it, the fact that it's the meta glasses, the filming, the
product,
the app. Yeah, like
I think there's an understandable, because I'm to gesture to people that might have this question or critique or whatever. There is a point to be made that there aren't a lot of tools or like obvious paths to getting over struggles, reading social cues, or engaging with people, or getting those reps in, because a degree of it is an emotional stamina. Like you do get better at talking to people by having productive conversations. It does happen, just like it happens from learning language as a baby, right? The issue is that, like, let's say you do just care about connecting people, like, or connecting with people, and you do just want to learn how to interface, right? The issue with going up to strangers with nothing but positive intent, not even to date, and you're not filming them, say. The issue is that all of the anxieties that you are carrying about interacting with people, about opening yourself up socially, you are not the only person like that. It's actually very common. And every time you initiate a sudden, intense, interpersonal, what's your favorite color, who are you conversation with someone, imagine that is happening to you in a quiet personal moment. You might be shattering the glass on somebody that is like feeling very insular, is like sipping their coffee, is like not a particularly social person. You can't judge that based on like, well, it's a woman, they're all comfortable, or well, they're out with a friend, they must be like very socially capable.
Like, what if her mom, or like this is just me saying, like, you don't know what's going on with this person that you're cold approaching. And I completely agree with everything you just said. Imagine that her friend's mom just died and she took her friend to the beach to comfort her.
Yeah, there's stories.
Place yourself in that situation.
Yeah, I think
she's laughing.
It's like I do have a lot of female friends who have mentioned that like people don't approach anyone anymore, and they romanticize wanting to be approached. But I think that happens in different spaces that are more welcoming for that sort of interaction. Like if you're at like a singles bar or something like that, or a pottery class and you're like next to somebody at a class and you could talk about the pottery, but
they're not talking about wanting to be approached at home. Like why they might not mean that at the beach.
I guess that's what
err on the side of caution.
Like, I think it's like err on the side of caution. He's treating it like a panacea. Like this is just how all women are. They all want to be approached, and you just need to have the confidence to say what's on your mind. And I think that's exactly the wrong advice.
I don't think, when I was like 10 or something, there would just be like a more natural path to me, like talking to other girls.
Yeah.
And I was a sheepish boy. Right?
Yeah.
If not for a lot of anecdotes and context, and even with that, like at age 20, I still barely had an accurate, having spent like a decade primarily around women, I think it would be so easy. And I think at the time, I definitely in my head was saying like, well, I like grew up around women, and I had a lot of female friends, and so like I basically get it. I like basically understand women, but really I think what I had learned is I'd learned the vernacular of what understanding women sounds like, and what being progressive sounds like, and what being a feminist sounds like. I had unconsciously learned the words, not the sentiment, which is kind of just how it works. You learn an idea before you kind of actually comprehend it. And it wasn't until I like had actual adult post-college, non-hometown, purely platonic female friends where I actually got context on like, oh, wait, no. They actually, and I don't, maybe I should say this with a degree of shame. I think it's relatively common experience, but I think I genuinely still wasn't seeing women as three-dimensional ideas. I was with like a cousin or a mom or an aunt. I'm like, yeah, you know, because they're like real. They're in the world and I've witnessed them being three-dimensional. But like girls at college, like, you know, yeah, they're like they're totally like people, but like they all do want to be approached and they all do want a manly man and they all do want these generic ideas that I've been given. And then you get a little older, even just like out of college, outside of that ecosystem, I felt like all of a sudden I was like, wait, no, but like sometimes they super don't. And sometimes they super do. And sometimes they are like, I don't think I also appreciated the like potential for, again, that niceness. Cause I wouldn't feel that way. Like if someone approaches me and I'm really not interested, I know that I always have the option to be like, leave or be like,
there's also just so I feel like the other side of the coin, and it's like to my understanding so common, is that many women are just constantly approached and constantly getting unwanted attention from people. So
often by guys who are like not even really expecting to get a date, but just want the power and experience of having one.
Yeah. So it's just like, I personally just feel like erring on the side of caution.
I feel like I can't think of a time. I can't think of a single like iterant or like a example of being approached in a like I want this to be romantic way being welcome. It's like literally there are so many times that it happened with me, especially when I was in college or in San Francisco, which San Francisco is like a whole other animal because it's a lot of tech guys and they don't know what they're doing. But having people come up to me and in a way that I'm like, oh God, I know that you're hitting on me. I'm just trying to hang out with my friends. That has never been welcome. Yeah. The times that I have talked to strangers, and I'm going to include women in this, at a bar or in a situation, in a place where it's not like a party, right? It's like out in the world. It has usually just been like a very natural, like, oh, I love your tattoos. Yeah. Like it's something where it's like, they literally want to get to know me for some reason. Yeah. Or like you're wearing a band shirt and I like that band.
Right. We have some sort of shared context that I want to approach. And if I think the issue is like the starting with a romantic approach. Yes. Like, cause it's so heavy handed and cause I like don't always like being approached by strangers, but I have to assume that like, if I know not everyone is like me, but there's gotta be like some amount that most people are like that.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's like, there is no one who always wants to be approached by people at all times. And I would, I'd say it's the vast majority of people, the majority of the time, don't want to be. We know plenty of people who are like always down, like always just really down to chat or engage. I don't know anyone who is always down, regardless of their like relationship status or who they're attracted to or any of that. I don't know anyone who is always down to flirt or to have someone trying to date them. Yeah. Quite honestly, like I think, and again, I'm like astral projecting and talking partially to like 19-year-old version of Jordan. To be very clear, I was not doing pickup artistry, quite the opposite. I was just like very sheepishly kind of being like, I don't know what girls want. Oh, brother. I think I was doing myself a disservice, and a lot of these like kids, and I think it is largely like teenagers and like resentful younger 20s dudes or whatever that watch this kind of content. I would never watch this kind of content, but I understand the sentiment if I was like a 2 out of 10, I understand these 10 out of 10
Right.
mindset stuff. I think they are doing themselves a disservice by thinking the thing they want is conversations like this, or that they would enjoy dating, let alone a relationship with someone where this is the base case. You don't really enjoy that.
It also always ends at getting someone's number, and it's like usually it's like a fake number, or it's like just whatever I need to say to get you to go away.
Yeah.
Or like the Instagram one, I think is always really interesting because I think it is kind of a like I cannot imagine any of those Instagram conversations going anywhere. Partially because like messaging is necessarily neutral. Like you can't. There's no one while texting is like, oh yeah, and like laughing, and you can't like control a conversation in like you can in person. But like,
Yeah.
I think it's just about having it. I think it's they look at their DMs and they go like 50 women.
Like they don't give space to say no or to like disengage from the conversation. Cause I do feel like it would be a little bit different to be like, is it, and I'm literally just spitballing this, but it's like, is it cool if I contact you sometime? No worries if not. I'll get out of here. Like I don't want to bother you.
Even cynically, if anyone is looking for actual like I want to get more dates or when I'm talking to strangers, just cynically what actually works, it is so much more effective and attractive in my opinion to make people feel safe. If you to showcase that versus showcasing like look how loud I am.
I think the ultimate move is to give her your number.
Yeah.
Don't ask her for her Instagram or her number. Give her your number. That is like such a like classy fucking gesture because you're essentially saying, hey, I'm interested in you. If you are interested in me, give me a call.
Yeah. Or
put it in her hands.
Even
you know?
like, hey, can I give you my number? Like I wouldn't feel comfortable like forcing it upon someone obviously the context. It's like the issue with this is it's impossible to enumerate all of the possible scenarios because there's different, like I've had experiences where like I go to the same coffee shop every day and I run into someone and then over time you like strike up a conversation and then you start to get the hint that there's interest there. Yeah. You know what I mean? And then you like you're like chatting and like you don't even have a way to contact each other. You just like, see each other in routine and then like you learn more about the person and then maybe they'll be like offer some information to you. Like in this instance, they were like, oh yeah, I work a shift at this place. You should come by. Yeah.
And see what you're describing, you're not forcing something.
Right. Yeah.
It's more of a like, hey, this might take a long time, but I'm getting to know a person and that's really cool. And I'm also feeling out how they feel about me. I'm not like inserting myself into the situation.
And that can happen in one interaction, but it's just like all of these things are so delicate that I feel like these guys, Riz influencers, are like working with such crude tools. And maybe you're getting, I almost feel like it's what's the term? Like it's an ego thing where it's like, I just want to get the number and that's like it. That's the win.
Also, are these guys like kind of naturally disincentivized from actually pursuing any kind of relationship? Because you can't really make this content if you're in a literally you shouldn't really make this content. Yeah. Anyone who's at like the top of the funnel for this kind of content pipeline, treating women and people in general 3-dimensionally, which I know can be frustrating. Because it needs no immediate gratification and it's complicated. Bloody hell. Part of it is acknowledging that like we're saying all of these things about how like women desire agency and safety and you need to be conscientious of that and always and
really just people
in general. And it is true that we are all beholden to gender performance standards, and in general, if in a trad het dynamic, the guy will be expected to kind of push it forward a little bit. those can both be true, but you still have to err on the side of caution. That's the thing. Even if it means not pursuing a relationship that might have had a chance.
This stuff is super heavy-handed and it's super prescriptive. Like that it's, well, this is you need 3 milligrams of complimenting her appearance and then
Get the reps.
Establish Kino, break the physical barrier.
The game did so much damage to this stuff. All
right.
This is another guy on TikTok who does these sort of metaglasses POV videos.
Great profile picture. I got it. We should change ours to that. That's awesome.
Oh, are they a YouTuber?
Yeah, I think they also post like longer form on YouTube.
And they got 100,000 subscribers.
Well, based on that photo, it appears that they found it in the bathroom.
Yeah.
It's like a scale.
The bigger one too. So they made this smaller somewhere recently.
God, it'd be funny to.
So they did actually change their name recently?
They did. So because of,
or maybe even created a new account. I think
they created a new account,
Yeah.
or this is their backup, maybe.
Not a good sign.
But this guy sort of has a tendency to approach people in like grocery stores or like in cafes, and a lot of them are employees, like while they're working, and so that adds an extra element of
that adds the stop accosting people at their work. Also, 6'1" POV. He doesn't speak for all of us. 6'1", by the way.
Oh, 6'1". Thank you. That does help.
The reason that he changed his name or like made a new account is because of a video he made of this woman.
Oh, but he still
and
posts.
this is a stitched TikTok from her talking about it. He used to go by ZDBOV.
She's working at a grocery store
Mm-hmm.
whose colors I don't recognize.
Publix. I would need to see the uniform, but
Yo. Whoa.
Hi. So I want to like go over this whole entire video because this dude walks up to me at my job with his shady ass glasses. Mind you, I'm a very socially awkward person. I obviously in the video I'm uncomfortable. And I'm a nice person. I'm on the clock working obviously, and I don't know, I'm not rude to customers.
it sucks that she even has to say like, "Hey, I'm nice." Like, also, it's a dead giveaway when he's got the sunglasses on indoors.
So they're always sunnies. I actually just have no idea.
I think you can actually get
because they were sunglasses
various
to start.
lenses.
I think in this case it's sunglasses. I'm sure with these guys it's always sunglasses, right? The Andrew Tate.
Like you can get prescription ones and stuff.
Oh,
That's
that sucks.
so weird.
Wait. Yeah, like because
See?
it to start, I'm pretty sure they were just sunglasses.
Yeah, I believe so.
I think the V1 was all just Ray-Ban sunglasses.
Probably better for the images, the
But
internal
you
image.
can
right?
I don't know.
get a variety of frames now.
Yeah.
Like the whole industry of these kinds of glasses is
you can get them
expanding
clear now,
wildly
yeah.
right now.
I really genuinely cannot understand. To me, it feels no different than like my phone's off. I'm not doing anything with it, but I'm holding it like this. If I was just talking to you, don't you feel incredibly uncomfortable? It's like having a gun pointed
That's
at you.
the thing. That's like there was a brief window of time before the average person was like aware of what was happening when someone was wearing those glasses, and it didn't feel like that. And so then it's just like filming someone without their awareness, which is even creepier than filming someone without their consent with their awareness. You know what I mean?
But then,
Black
Ray-Bans.
Oh, but then people became aware of the sunglasses, or they were at the time sunglasses, or just the rim of those glasses now, and it is essentially just doing this.
It's like, and like you're looking at Instagram. You might not even be filming me, but it literally is just.
It naturally makes you go, what the fuck? What are you doing?
Warby Parker just made a deal with Google for their new glasses that are essentially the same thing.
Is this like are they just incredibly short-sighted? I get that deal is going to make some cash, but it is permanent brand damage. It is like
no, but like I actually think they're going to make a ton of money on it. That's the problem, is that this has made so much money for Meta.
I don't think the PR is bad enough, which is kind of scary.
There
I guess
was
we do call them Meta glasses, not Ray-Ban Meta glasses.
Yeah. What's most surprising to me is that like I was around for Google Glass, and the reaction to Google Glass, the hypothetical reaction to Google Glass was so much more severe. Where it would be like you couldn't go into bars, like they'd be like you can't wear this here, and you couldn't really do half the stuff that you couldn't really do the thing that they're doing with the Meta glasses. Like you could, but like not really.
And it would be like I feel like we're in such a weird era right now where everyone's like, if you weren't really sentient yet, like if like let's say like the early 2010s, late 2000s, you weren't like actually alive. Either you weren't born or you had like kid brain, full kid brain. I do think there's this weird memory holing we've done of the 2000s and 2010s where we've gone like, yeah, like people were just like they are back then, but they were, you know, like they weren't as cynical as they are right now, and they didn't really have like the media literacy we do right now, but you know, we treat everyone from before the like 2020s as Facebook parents. Like they're easily tricked and thrown around. I'll be honest with you, man. When we had a hell of a lot more skepticism about the Google Glass than anyone has ever had about the Meta glasses. We were calling it loser shit. We were pushing back on it.
It's like baffles me that like there isn't a similar reaction.
It's so weird.
There has been some reports of like, I read this BBC article about the popularity of these kinds of glasses like blowing up around the world, and how the response has been, even though the response is actually not being reported that much. So, and it does feel like a big PR campaign from Meta in particular, but there are reports of stuff like a woman grabbing the Meta glasses off a man's face in a subway and breaking them in half.
Okay. Well,
people are like pissed where they're like, you're recording me. And they'll be like, no, I'm not. And then, you know, altercations
that's
happening.
Also, it's like, because there are people who use them as smart glasses. And so it's like, yes, it's dumb, but also like, that is also an issue. But the real thing is fees shouldn't exist.
There was a woman who told the story of going to a cooking class with her husband while wearing the Meta glasses and recording what she was doing. And she started to realize everyone else in the class was very uncomfortable. And she, towards the end of the class, asked the woman next to her. And the woman was like, yeah, I don't want to be recorded. And you are not just looking at your hands. You're looking around as well.
Sure.
And so then that woman wrote this long story of like, this is how I realized what an invasion of privacy this is.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, that woman's clearly tone deaf, but she learned, you know, just not by anyone being violent towards her, but just seeing how uncomfortable she was making people.
Yeah.
Well, maybe this isn't the case because people do it at the gym or whatever, but like I hear that and I'm like, would you set up like a camera with a tripod? Do you get why that would be weird? Or that would
But
also
the thing
be
is,
normal?
a camera with a tripod could just be pointed down at your station.
Like,
and then you as a bystander can look at where the camera is pointed.
Listen, bro, you ain't watching that video. There's no world where you get home and you're like, what was it? Chicken? You eat it or you like throw it on the ceiling? Oh, that's right. I eat the chicken after I cook
I was gonna say, like, I don't know if I've said this part of the story, but it's been enough time. In like 2013 or whatever, when I was wearing my friend's Google Glass in downtown Atlanta, and we met Robin Thicke, who had a concert next door at the Fox Theater. He was drunk, and my friend like told me to walk up to Robin Thicke with the glasses on, and I did that. And then he was like, we were showing him the glasses, and he put them on, and the first thing he said, and this is 100% cross my heart and hope to die, like hand on the Bible. The first thing he said is, "Can you see through women's clothes with these?" That is an actual factual thing that Robin Thicke said to me. And I have photo proof of him wearing the Google Glass next to me.
Oh my God.
Such a to
What
have
a
the
child's
synapses immediately go to like X-ray glasses that kids would talk about.
And so
Like the ones you buy in the back of a comic book.
And so that is like, so when I think about that, and I think about that as a, wow, you don't think about the privacy invasion. You don't think about the autonomy of someone like being able to like kind of exist in their own space. You just think of like, how can I use this for me, for my own like gain?
I do. I sometimes, I had my mind broken one time by just watching, I think it was like I'm out of touch moment for me. This was like a few years ago. I just remember a specific video of like, girl was filming herself in her car, and then I think it was just like a car was going like insanely fast coming out of like a freeway exit, and just like almost hit her so close that it took the side mirror off, and it would the video was posted as like a look how fucking close this car was. But I remember watching the video, and my first thought before you get into the car park was like, you just have your phone filming you? Like, because it wasn't a GoPro, it wasn't that kind of setup. It was that she had started recording herself and was like eating a meal and like doing her makeup. And I was like, oh, we see all the big ones, but everyone's just filming themselves. For nothing. Just like, well, why would I miss this moment? That is inconceivable to me. For not work. To like electively just be sat there so that I
I do think it's just like such a part of our society now.
It's definitely like just people are just far more used to being on camera, performing for camera. Even that 18-year-old like sounded like they're like performing for a camera that's like not even there.
Dude, it really was like space brain.
That is so
all right, let's let her tale continue.
Almost like the lady from Daredevil.
He tries to get my number, my Instagram. I have Instagram, but I said I don't have Instagram because I'm not interested whatsoever in this like whole situation. But
Exactly.
I texted this guy kindly to delete this video because first of all, I have like legal issues behind it, and I don't want some like certain person knowing where I work.
Oh,
It's, like, a whole thing.
Jesus.
Yeah, that's a big one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, let's hear his response. You think it's probably very sensitive, right?
His parry.
This makes me think about like how when people, there's a lot of crimes that have been done in this world that are based on someone figuring out where someone is in social media, either to find that person and do harm to them, or to like know that they're not at home and to like rob them or something like that. And like that is just like super basic. This is also just like, oh my God, like we just take it for granted. It's so easy to just be obviously don't film people without their permission, but this is just like, it's like an illustration of why that's like it's duh, you know?
Yeah. But then, treating people three-dimensionally, they're not a person that lives in a house and has positive or negative relationships with people in their life that might have legal issues in their life. This is a employee of a grocery store. Like when you walk into a clothing store in GTA and this NPC only exists behind the counter.
No, it's literally like they think they're in GTA. And I feel like streamer brain has like made people act like that.
Yeah.
Like when the camera's filming, I'm in Grand Theft Auto and there's like, they're not real people.
Yeah, why would they be? They're off camera, they don't exist.
I have a friend that got hit by a car, and her insurance is like in a battle with the driver's insurance over, how much she should be compensated and like how much of her medical bills and stuff should be covered. And her insurance told her, just so you know, it's pretty common for them to hire a private investigator to keep tabs on you.
The insurance company?
Yeah. Because they want to prove she wasn't really as hurt as she says she was.
Do private eyes ever do like murders anymore? Like, do they ever look into like an affair of a woman in the
evil?
Oh, they stole the diamond. They're like only stalkers now.
So maybe it's not even like she's scared she's gonna be killed. Maybe it's scared she's not gonna get payment for something that she is
It could be
due,
anything.
You know?
She's entitled to her privacy.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I told him to delete the video, and he sends me messages. He's like, oh, let me contact my team or my manager or something, saying, oh, like, he'll let me know if I can take down this video. And then he's like, by the way, I thought you were really cute or beautiful, and I actually do want to hang out with you. And then I replied, and I'll show my screenshots.
The way you approached me at my job was inappropriate and pretty much has the same concept in all your posts. You do the same thing in every video, but recording people without permission is not cool at all, and the whole situation just makes you look creepy. True. I had talked with my managers and told them about the situation, so if you do end up coming back in here, just please leave me alone. It's genuinely just weird at this point. And I know you're not going to take down the video because it's your most successful video. That's the worst fucking thing too. However, it just shows how disrespectful and disgusting you are. The fact that recording yourself has to be so uninteresting that you try making money off of other people, making them uncomfortable. Facts.
Fucking cooked.
But he left the video up, right? Until he stopped gaining followers off of the video of me. Okay, so he stopped getting followers and deleted the video. And mind you, he started posting his top 4, I think his most recent 4 videos are at Publix. And obviously I work at Publix. So he's going into Publix, finding people. I don't know if it's intentional, but because the only video on his page that did over like 10,000 views was my video, and it had 2 million views.
I actually haven't been able to find a straight answer on whether he took the video down or whether it was reported and got taken down. But then eventually his account that he was posting these from was banned, and then he started that other 6'1" POV account.
Right. Can we find his YouTube?
Oh, he's doing Omegle.
Okay.
Oh, but also grocery stores.
Here are some of the ones.
Can you sort by popular?
That other guy, the other guy's approach obviously also sucks, but I do think there's something to be said about the grocery store method is almost like going uncomfortable, aggressive dude, easy difficulty, where it's like, you can't get upset at me because you're at work.
Is this just my imagination, or does picking up women at the grocery store sound like some kind of weird fantasy thing? Where it's
I'm so cool, even the grocery
grocery store is my
So
playground.
this guy pivoted into this content because he was doing Man on the Street.
Oh, is this all the older ones are
Yeah, because when we sort by popular, it's all these videos are Man on the Street.
But that kind of makes sense because he's clearly chasing what's
the trend.
The trend is.
Yeah.
And Man on the Street was very trendy for
yeah, it
time.
was.
Wait a minute.
We would not have...
This guy is not 6'1". This guy is not 6'1". 100% he's not 6'1".
Maybe 6'1" means something different to him.
Maybe he only talks to really tall ladies.
Takashi 6'1".
Craziest place you've done it. Shut the fuck up, boy.
Chill.
The videos of him doing the pickup stuff isn't even popping off on YouTube.
Sure that other channels getting them or whatever, but doesn't it feel kind of 2015 a little bit?
No, well, I mean, if you think of Hawk to a Girl, that was a couple of years ago. I feel like that was
I don't know how old these videos are because we just sorted by popular because I was curious where the majority of his subscribers came from, which is this stuff.
How are
I guess we can go back to news since apparently we can't scroll far enough to find the fucking glasses videos.
Oh, so many. Okay, so
he's already pivoted out of it. It looks like.
So that's her.
Oh.
He put it up on YouTube.
Look
That's
at the
girl.
caption.
Can we watch it just for? We don't have to show it on the thing. Yeah, to summarize, he just walks up to her and then she perfectly predicts everything he's about to do.
It is, even for a guy this unself-aware, that was completely humiliating.
Yeah.
And he posted it with the caption, POV, Riz. That was it would be less humiliating to have not tried at all.
It's humiliating that he said he's 25. It's like an embarrassment to developed frontal lobes everywhere.
Yeah, good point. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Adult. This is a full adult saying this out loud.
Yeah.
What's always telling too is this stuff is always set up so that the power dynamic implicitly limits their ability to really say or do anything, right? Because they think it's because they're rizzing. What's actually happening is these people are being polite and or scared. You'll notice the moment she kind of has any kind of as you say, like if she perfectly parries, he like you can see that if your heart rate goes up really quick or like you get cortisol maxing, your voice gets wobbly. You talk. Yeah. It's like you can feel it, and it's like pushing through. Or it's your like what is it? Public speaking anxiety, where you're just like you can feel it kind of. That immediately happened, and he went like, we could. Well, I mean, if it's, do you have an Instagram link? Like, he lost it completely.
I really detest about this type of this type of content creator is just like a cloud at all costs like type creator where they'll literally just do anything.
And again, don't approach people and do this, but in a conversation like that, good opportunity to score normie points by being like, oh, that's weird. Do people say that to you a lot?
Sure.
Right.
Or like, that's not okay.
But he did approach her going, damn.
He goes, whoa. And she says, oh, I thought you were just going to say I'm tall. And instead he says, oh, you're not tall. I'm taller than you.
And she's like, no, you're not.
And also like, that's not how tall is defined.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah.
Wemby doesn't say to other NBA players, you're not tall.
You're not tall.
He titled the video, She's So Tall.
Yeah, that's true.
So that's extra funny. But it does remind me of...
I'm so short.
Yeah, I'm afraid.
I had a roommate in San Francisco who was 6'1", and she was really pretty. And everyone always told her that they were you're not 6'1" because I'm 6'1".
Oh yeah,
and you're a little taller.
Height, yeah.
And she'd be like, "No, you're not 6'1". You're something else.
Like I think 6'1" is the height of Tall Girl in the movie Tall Girl.
That makes sense.
Oh, and that is actually the height of persecution also.
Yep. Sorry, brother.
WNBA players are sometimes 6'1", but sometimes taller. Cameron Brink, she's 6'4", 6'3", 6'4".
Brittany Griner is...
That Cameron Brink video where she's on campus and I think people are like, you're not 6'4". I think that happens to her.
I remember that video. Did we watch that?
We watched it somewhere.
Yeah, she's great.
Cool. So this sucks.
Isn't this the Mr. Beast thing?
Yeah, it is.
Is it literally? Like,
it's literally that. I mean, I don't know if it currently is, but if we go to Mr. Beast,
it might. Really funny. That feels so 2010. But a cookie. Get a cookie. Amazing.
Yeah.
Follow for follow.
It works on children.
Oh yeah, you're right. What am I?
I actually get a cookie.
What?
A kid waiting patiently next to the mailbox.
I'll never forget for when I asked for a cookie at Publix and they told me I was too old.
Oh, and you were a child.
I was a child.
And you were too tall.
And you were approached by a man with meta glasses.
And I was like, what are those?
Whoa, wow.
He's like, Jarvis, I'm from the future.
Don't cut your hair.
Don't cut your hair, please.
And scene.
Yeah, no, this guy should.
Everything's going to be great.
You were talking about BBC article.
Yeah, so there's a lot of interesting parts in this article.
Oh yeah, Boz. Okay, so they call him Boz, Andrew Bosworth. He's a CTO at Meta, formerly Facebook, and I know they call him Boz because I used to think that guy was cool when I was a teenager.
Looking at that photo of him wearing this, like, God.
Was asked on Instagram 2 weeks ago about the stigma around people wearing smart glasses today. He responded by saying the sheer number of Meta Ray-Bans sold suggests these are widely accepted. That's a dumb response.
Also, they talk about a lot of like weird stuff around these glasses or around creating them. In Kenya, there was like a factory of people tasked with watching the videos made through Meta's glasses to create AI training data for the company.
Yeah.
And they said they were being required to watch graphic content like sex and bathroom usage, which was recorded on the glasses.
I mean, this is like probably not something that people are thinking about as happening, but every video that's like uploaded, you have to assume a trust and safety person at a company is watching it because they have to make sure that it's not breaking laws and stuff. And as a result, there's been horrifying articles about the lack of care and guardrails taken to protect the eyeballs of the people who have these jobs. And this is even like also Facebook, but the Facebook moderation stuff that is not these things, just like Facebook moderation in the past. Like this has been written about for a long time.
I feel like it's like reduced people's skepticism, like the like always kind of filming yourself, going to obsession, talking out loud. Do you think it's like the same mindset that like you know, you hear about like that lady in Europe that got scammed with the really obvious photoshops of Brad Pitt in the hospital and stuff like that. We look at that with like a degree of very normal cynicism. We're like, there's not a Nigerian prince trying to give you diamonds. Like, what? How the fuck does this trick people? I feel like it's gone like full circle where somehow we remained skeptical about that kind of stuff, and then the next generation lost the skepticism again for some reason, and is now like. So I have on my laptop, I have that little, you know, the stick-on cover the webcam.
Yeah, I need to get one of those.
Like, partially motivated by this genuinely can be accessed. This is a real thing that could exist. But like, also we live in the panopticon, and it gives me a rational or irrational comfort. I look at that and I go like, okay, I feel a little better. The idea of wearing these glasses and like, say I'm not even filming. I'm wearing these glasses and I just like went to the urinal. I wouldn't piss. I would take the glasses off. It's like so obvious to me immediately that exposing myself to that is like, I don't know how that doesn't make you so uncomfortable you don't do it.
But it's the same thing as like, I remember seeing this meme when like Amazon Alexa and all of those like home assistants started coming out. There was this meme that was like the 1950s, and it was like, don't talk over the telephone. It might be wiretapped. And then today, wiretap, can you set a timer for 30 minutes? And it's like, yeah, we just have these things in our home, and I think we trust that tech companies are doing their due diligence to protect our privacy, and they're not. And that's what a lot of this BBC article is like, not only is it people being recorded against their knowledge, it's people who maybe are being recorded with their knowledge, but then the users don't realize that their footage could leak very easily.
One thing that I didn't mention here about these workers in Kenya is that the camera has allegedly been recording when people did not know it was recording. And so that's good for Meta because they want to build, they want to train their AI models. One of the big issues with training AI models is having data like to train on, and having like what's it called? Labeled data. That's not the, like, I think labeled data is close enough. But anyway, so now they can generate a like a giant database of data that is like recordings of someone like walking out in the world, and it's going to give them the ability to, well, first of all, just like it's basically surveillance cameras being used to train AI of people's private moments. And so like in one, people said they had no idea such videos had been made. You might look at sex and think, were you wearing the glasses during sex? But what if you just put them on your nightstand?
Yes. Oh, you're so right. I literally didn't even think of that.
I thought of that while I was forming that sentence.
So like, why would you? Because I was thinking like, babe, I gotta keep the glasses on. But no, it's not. It's nanny cam shit. It's like, I gotta put this bear in the corner.
If it's recording video, it's almost like Who Watches the Watchmen a little bit, because, you know, if I'm a POV TikToker and there's a light when I'm recording to tell people around me, there's not a light recording when Facebook is silently capturing video and then sending it up to home base.
I know that there's the phenomenon in Japan, right, where it's illegal, or rather,
you can't have a silent shutter. You have to have a loud shutter sound because people do upskirts and stuff.
And I remember hearing that and being like, having the same instinctual response that I think a lot of people did, that I now in retrospect realize is like a little bit racist, in that I just went like, wow, what a crazy culture. Like, that just happens in Japan. I've heard about that happening in Japan. That just happens, as opposed to, I think it's closer to just, it's acknowledged and challenged in Japan, as opposed to like, well, it happens here, but you can't make me silence my phone. You can't let me not do that.
Don't tread on me.
I struggle to think of a reason that we should also not make that the case.
It says 7 million pairs. I think the number is probably closer to 10 now. So they sold 2 million in like 24, and that 2023, 24, and then they sold 7 million in
2025 alone.
So wild.
So that number is tripled, and it's like and we get these numbers from the manufacturer that Ray-Ban works with.
How much do
because
they
they're a
cost?
public company.
Yeah.
And so then they report these things.
And this
What
is
was the
just
question?
Meta.
How much do they cost?
Like $220.
And they're getting cheaper. And that's
Yeah.
why I brought up Warby Parker's, because that deal with Google Glasses is making it more affordable and more people can get these glasses.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just it is the like. I'm trying to think of a comparable product that is. I feel like there's fewer of them that have this kind of purchase these days, but like I feel like there was a virality to a lot of specific tech stuff in the 2010s. Like for some reason, my brain's going to the Ouya, but that was more of just like a shitty scam or mess. But like, what is?
Well, sorry, what was the question?
Well, I was just going to ask you if you remember any like. Everyone's getting this thing, and now in retrospect, it was kind of silly, but like everyone's buying it.
Fitbits had a craze, and they're still around, but there was more of a craze in the past. There are other in the Google Glass, Google I/O 2013 or whatever. There were 3 products announced. One of them was the Nexus Q, which immediately died because it was basically worse Roku/Chromecast, but
Cube, like the
letter Q. But Chromecast didn't exist yet, and so basically it was like this big orb. Yeah.
I recognize that.
Yeah. That thing immediately failed.
Wait, are those aux inputs? What the fuck is that in the back of it?
Ethernet and those are
audio.
Yeah, HDMI,
Cables.
like mini HDMI.
What are the ones?
USB.
Those are audio.
Those are aux?
Right and
Like
left
35 million?
audio outputs.
Yeah, weird.
And inputs.
Interesting.
Maybe.
Anyway, yeah.
To get HO
Apparently,
GameCube.
one of Google's worst hardware flops. But what's notable is that Google kind of famously does a thing where they like trail a market and then create like a B- version of a product. Like a lot of Google products are like that. Like I don't know if you've noticed, but like if you think about most Google products are like the B- maintained the bare minimum amount version of a product. And
it's the Apple or Microsoft one, then the Google one, and then like the Huawei, Amazon one that's actually as good, but doesn't have the brand.
But
cachet.
yeah, so it's like it makes sense now that like Meta sold 10 million of these glasses that they get into the market.
Man, that's so.
Apple's
crazy.
also getting into the market. Snap has said they'll release a new version of its smart glasses.
Yes,
called
Snap did
Specs.
have them, but Meta has 82% of the market, so Snap's not doing super
What's
great.
the I understand that they have some, or like the pitch is that they have some utility outside of just recording. When I hear about Meta glasses, you might as well just say camera to me.
It's a AI agent on your face, basically.
Yeah, it's AI and like a VR or a AR component.
But people are like,
Can I just say that I want to tell people from a media literacy thing, I want to call out a very common technique that tech people use. Tracy Clayton, a Meta spokesperson, told the BBC that people should behave responsibly with any technology. We have teams dedicated to limiting and combating misuse, but as with any technology, the onus is ultimately on the individual people to not actively exploit it. You are making the glasses.
Yes.
You are creating the tool that is easily exploited, and then you are saying it's up to the individual.
Sorry.
This is the same argument that gun manufacturers use.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't even mean to make it.
Like, we will create a killing machine, but it can't kill anyone unless a
use
human
it.
touches
Are you
it.
crazy?
I mean, we've created the killing algorithm, but like, don't apply it to guns. Don't apply it to drone warfare.
Don't put. Okay, we attached a Gatling gun to the consumer grade drone that we sell. Don't use it.
I mean, behave responsibly with the drone-based Gatling gun.
Also, the funny thing about this is that there are built-in AI components that could, like, there's not even like a malicious thing happening. It is a glitch happening where it records without you knowing. So it's like, why would?
And I mean, sometimes I'm like, glitch.
Yeah.
I don't know.
right.
It's
But it's
not.
the
I'm
same
not,
thing
not
where
a
it's like,
conspiracy theorist, but
that is actually on you, Tracy.
yeah.
Oh my god, this looks annoying as fuck. I can't see I'm trying to do the dishes. Get out of the way.
I'm trying to make my matcha.
Oh god. You. I don't get it.
I know, I don't like this at all. I recently got progressive lenses, and that was hard enough to get used to.
Can you move out of the fucking way? I'm trying to get the elevator.
God, he's so bad at the game.
What a stupid fucking game.
What a shitty game. For what? The 30-second elevator? Oh, I mean, that's one thing that I do think is a little bit demonic, is the like, brother, there's gotta be 10 seconds a day where you're not doing something.
Right.
Yes. This video is missing people walking past you on the sidewalk, giving you the stank face. Like going, what the hell?
Wondering if you were recording them.
Flipping you off.
This is, wait, no. I refuse to believe that this is what people are doing. I don't fucking believe them. People don't even do this on their Apple Watch, and it's made for it.
Well, that's the thing. This is like you create a problem and sell people the solution.
Right.
Do you have to wear the ugly wristband, or is this just a cool style that he's got on?
I think it's just I don't even know what
You
the hell
do
that
have to
is.
touch your finger in that way.
Yeah, his gesture controls. Or whatever.
That's another thing where it's like, I don't know how we've come full circle again, but I thought the lesson of motion controls that we all kind of realized is that it's actually very unsatisfying to not have kinetic feedback.
Yeah.
Like it just feels shitty. It's not,
Yeah,
what the fuck?
Stop showing this woman's legs.
Why are we looking at this woman's legs?
Use your phone.
It's a reveal that look, a woman who doesn't realize she's being recorded and is now in an ad.
Why would you put this in the ad?
She's probably, I have to assume this is actually a closed set.
Right.
Oh yeah.
But it still illustrates the problem.
How did it get past everyone making it?
Because everyone making it is inside of the distortion zone.
Oh, can you show me that clip again? Sorry, the one we just watched. What the fuck is she holding? What is that?
A phone?
A phone.
A what? Why? But she's like tapping it.
Yeah.
That's so inconvenient.
It's an old dude. Wait, what did Casey Neistat say about
I type
this?
on my cat.
She must have a wrist problem.
Casey Neistat has become like a big proponent of this because of.
He is really good at being the first loser
These
on
are my
everything.
3 favorite features of the Meta Ray-Ban display. Problem
the
number
mighty have
1
fallen.
is text messaging. It keeps me from having to take my phone out and engage. It's also
that's
great
so
when I'm
hard.
having like a conversation I'm not fully into. If I get an important message, I can actually interact with it.
Dude,
without
he's
having to
doing the
suffer
exact same
conversation.
stuff you show in like a medicine commercial.
Yeah, it's like before I got Blimbanco
For my head diarrhea.
Without Blimbanco for my head diarrhea, I couldn't play football with my son. And it's just like
Blimbanco will fucking kill you. Do not take Blimbanco.
Yeah, do not take Blimbanco.
It'll make all of your lips fall off.
It'll record everything you've ever done. It'll record all your sex and send it to Mark Zuckerberg.
Why
It's
would
just
you
them like
want
playing golf.
the constant, like already my phone disrupts me too much. Why do I want constant beeps and boops in my eyeballs?
This is the same argument that dating shows use in their intro when they talk about how dating on the apps has just become too bad. So I'm on Love or Death Island where I either find my love or I'm killed.
Oh, I go right
live
in the
on
volcano.
NBC. Yeah.
I do wonder. It's funny
You
to.
joke, but that show's probably coming.
It's coming. It's in development, actually.
It's so telling that like it's like impossible for, especially, I mean, this is kind of Casey's whole career, but like impossible to understand when people say like, everyone like literally is on their phone too much. You're filming every content you go to. You should like live in the moment. And they go, right, I'll put my phone here.
Right. And so now I'm still in the moment.
I'm always.
But it's like you're not in the moment. You actually have literally just changed your head angle of doing the same, disengaging from the moment.
Stopped an in-person activity with your friend to focus on your iPhone.
Can you
You still
imagine?
don't
Like,
use your
Oh my
hand.
god, iPhone.
Oh my god, he's pointing to his
More
eyeball.
like anti-social media.
they should call it that. Can you imagine? Just
We've been
like
sad boys, everybody.
somebody was like, "Hey, you need to touch grass," and so you just put grass on your phone case. You know,
I
I'm doing it.
I have grass.ar. It's a new grass app
It's all over my face.
that puts grass near me wherever I am.
I just have Grass app.
It's the wall from Smart House where they like look outside into the meadow.
Oh, dude.
God.
I mean, does she come with it?
Does Katie Seagal come with the house? Come with the glasses?
Do I come with the glasses?
Does Mark Zuckerberg get to watch me come with the glasses?
God, especially if they're prescription, because then I'm like, okay, well, I have to fucking wear them. I'm like doing
Oh my
something.
god, in that BBC article, the most horrifying example they give is a woman posted on social media that, and of course, who knows if these stories are real, whatever. But she said she was getting a bikini wax and she looked at her technician and saw that she didn't take her meta glasses off. And she said, I'm sorry, can you take those off before you do what you're going to do? And she said, I can't, they're prescription.
That's like, I'm picturing it as like the vision that the Predator has, where it's like, it's showing a thermal outline of where to do the bikini wax, and it's like, it's guiding you.
I'm dying. We're going to go head over to Sad Boyz Nightz, where we're going to fucking chill, dog.
Oh, who's this guy?
I'm going to talk about some Love Island, which we've been watching. Jacob and myself at the very least, and how prediction markets are ruining reality TV that I love.
They came for the final thing we had left in this country, the last art.
It was the last bastion of reality that we have.
Also, I might have to dip my toe into movie talk. No, stop doing that.
Patreon.com/sadboys. Where we totally know what the show is.
Don't worry about it.
We end every episode of Sad Boys with a particular phrase.
We love you.
And we're sorry. Boom.
Sorry.
Gucci girl, how you doing? How you moving, girl? Moving, girl. How's your day looking? That future girl, yeah, we on now. Take my money, go away, all you want it.
Girl, too rich for me.